Yo, 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 my man.
Yo, what's up?
Nothing much, man. Ladies and gentlemen, big weekend in college football. We're going to just hop right into it. We got a lot to talk about. So without any further ado, my name is Corey Hilliard. The man next to me is Brandon Hill, a.k.a. B Hill, a.k.a. B. We at a house divided. Whether it's your first time or you've been here before, we got to go over the house rules. B, you got them?
You guys already know what time it is around here at the House Divided, guys. If you guys aren't already, go ahead and hop down there and hit that little red button that says subscribe. Go ahead and subscribe to that so you guys can be a new family member to our community. Another thing, if you would, go ahead and hit that notification bell too. It gets you guys all up to date on our newest content that we are going to be dropping. Another thing, if you don't mind, this is probably one of the biggest things for us. Hop down in those comment boxes, guys. Leave your opinions, questions, anything, good, bad, we don't care one way or another. And also too, if you guys like the content that you're seeing, if you like what you're hearing and you want to hear more of it, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button, because that'll help with the algorithm to get our content out there to more people. So man, like you did touch on, we got us a college football week this weekend, man. We got some top teams facing off against each other. We got some Big Ten matchups, SEC, Big 12, we got the Pac-12. So we're going to be covering all the major conferences and their big games that are in each one of those conferences this week for you guys.
Yep.
To start it off, though, I thought this was probably the premier matchup this week. It's coming out of the SEC. You got the Alabama Crimson Tide going up against the Tennessee Volunteers. That's number 3 versus number 6. The line on this one, still not giving any respect to them Volunteers. It's -7.5 for Alabama. Now, I haven't heard anything new on Bryce Young. I don't think that they're really releasing anything yet. I think it's going to be one of those game time decision type things, unless you've heard something I haven't, Corey.
I haven't heard anything.
Here's where I'm at on this. You almost need Bryce Young to go in there to this stadium against Tennessee with the way Hooker's been playing and them boys over there at Tennessee. I mean, you are going to need your full squad. I don't know if I'm an Alabama fan. I don't know if I'm going to trust Milroe to go in there as a true freshman and be able to pull off a big victory like this. I mean, that would be a lot to ask of a true freshman. Now, granted, it's a true freshman at Alabama. There's levels to this stuff. It's not your regular true freshman. The guy was a 5-star quarterback coming out of high school, one of the highly recruited players coming out of high school. So, I don't know. He's got some moves. I mean, he can definitely move with his feet. He's going to make Tennessee respect him with his feet. I just don't know if he's going to be able to get enough passes out there that he needs to, because, again, like we've mentioned in the past, Bama don't have Jerry Jeudy. They don't have Waddle. They don't have Devontae Smith. I mean, they don't have all those guys right now, and that makes a big, big difference. We're not talking about Tua as a true freshman winning the national title here. It's just a totally different team. But to second to that, though, they do have a heck of a ground game coming out of that backfield over there at Alabama. And that defense is still legit. I'm going to let you kind of take some little points on this game before I give my pick on this one, Corey.
I'm looking at the line right now. It's actually, if you get on ESPN, the line is at +9 for Tennessee at home. I don't know if you said that earlier or not. Yeah. So it's jumped up 2 points from where it started at 7.
It is, yeah, +9. Wow, they literally, I did my notes probably an hour ago, Corey, so that has changed.
Yeah, so, I mean, the money's coming in on Alabama, obviously, which means that people are picking Alabama heavy right now. Guys, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. When Alabama struggles, they struggle with teams that either have a really, really, really strong defense, or they struggle with teams that have a running quarterback. And I think Tennessee has that X factor at quarterback. Hendon Hooker right now, 1,432 yards passing, 10 touchdowns, no interceptions. Kid hadn't thrown an interception since November of last year. I love the receiving core of Tennessee. I think the fact that he can get around and run and still hit you and beat you with his arm is going to give Alabama fits. And then last but not least, the game's at Neyland Stadium, bro. Neyland Stadium, if you don't know anything about it, they sing Rocky Top there all day. The checkerboard end zones. It's one of the best college football stadiums in all America. It's one of the best shows in all America and in the SEC. It's a special place to catch a football game. It's actually on my bucket list. So with all of that being said, I am taking Tennessee outright for the win. I can definitely see them winning by more than 9. So not only do I have them winning outright, but I think the line on this is completely wrong and flipped. I would have Tennessee right now by 9.5, and I would take the over.
Ooh, man, what a take there on the house divided by my man Corey. My
Dangerous.
gosh.
I woke up
That
feeling
is-
dangerous, man.
That you must have, man. That's woo. I mean, it's got to make me think though. If the line went from -7.5 to 9, somebody in Vegas or somebody has some information that Bryce Young's going to be playing in.
Yeah, I would think so.
I mean, that would be the only thing I could think of to make the line jump like
That's
that.
a great
point and a half
by you. Yes.
within that take. So I mean, you got me, Bryce Young. I mean, man, I'm just one of those. We talked about this a little bit already. I'm one of those, man. I just can't go against Nick Saban. I just can't do it, especially in these big time games. He has proven time and time and time again, no matter where he's playing, no matter who he has on his roster, that guy is going to have his players ready to play this game. I guarantee you that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not taking anything away from Tennessee. I mean, I picked against them last week against LSU, and that one blew up in my face real quick. So, but LSU and Alabama, that's a whole different animal here that we talking about. I mean,
yeah.
Them Crimson Tide, I did pick Alabama to win the SEC this year, so I have to stick with my pick here. I got Alabama, man, and I got Alabama covered in this. Give me those 9 points. I got Bama covering the 9 points. I think they're going to roll up in there in the old Neyland Stadium, and I think they're going to give Tennessee some work, man. I really, really do. So this is the house divided, guys. We're divided on this pick. So I'm taking Bama, and you're going to roll with Tennessee. I like that, though. Not a bad pick. Just don't agree with it. That's the only thing. You got anything else on this game before we move on to this next matchup?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, this next matchup is another big top 10 matchup coming out of the Big Ten. You got the Penn State Nittany Lions against the Michigan Wolverines. Interesting. John Harbaugh, I mean, he has them guys, or Jim Harbaugh, my mistake. He's got them guys playing good. Michigan looks legit. I mean, that running back they have, my guy, dude, that dude's a beast. I think he's got like over 700 yards already this season, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he's got like 735. You're talking about Blake Corum. 735,
Yeah.
I want to say 11
touchdowns?
Yeah.
Dude, that's ridiculous. We're talking about through 6 games.
Yep.
He's
their best player, easily.
And I mean, the guy over there at Penn State, Singleton, he's not a bad running back either. He don't have 735 yards. He only has 463 yards with 5 touchdowns. Doesn't really look like they got any kind of receiving weapons, really, to be honest with you. I mean, you got Washington, who's got 20 receptions for 285 yards. Their quarterback, Clifford, to me, he just seems like a glorified game manager, in my opinion. I mean, going into the big house here, man, against Michigan, that's a tough task to ask Penn State to be able to do that. I don't think that they're going to be ready for this. I mean, Vegas has this game at -7 in favor of the Wolverines. Go ahead and give me all that. I'm going to pick Michigan on this one, and I'm going to pick them to cover. I got them covering that 7-point spread. I think, like we have alluded to before, it's going to come down to in the Big Ten against Michigan and Ohio State. That's in the horseshoe. Both those teams are going to be undefeated when they meet up at the end of the season, and that's going to determine who goes to the Big Ten championship. That's how I see it. What do you got, Corey?
No, I agree with that wholeheartedly. To be honest, I mean, if you look at all 4 units, I like to do this. If you're looking at both offenses, Michigan puts up about almost close to 20 yards a game more than Penn State does. And then if you look at the defensive side, Penn State gives up 341 yards a game. Michigan only gives up 247. I think if you look at, the defenses, they ball out there in Ann Arbor. I think if you look at the schedules and compare the level of competition as well, I think Michigan has had a harder schedule and have played tougher teams. I think with all that being said, I would trust The Michigan defense in this spot, I think that's the best unit out of all of the units on the field. And then that Michigan offense would be the second best unit. So I just think obviously they're a way more talented team overall. They recruited better. They got better players than Penn State does. And it's at home in the big house. I definitely see them covering the 7 points?
It's 7 even.
Yeah, I could see a 10-point victory here. I don't think it'll be as close as people think.
Right. I mean, and they're outscoring them too. I mean, Michigan does. I mean, as far as I am going to kind of push back on your schedule take there, I'd probably call it about a toss-up on both of their schedules. I mean,
Really?
because you did Penn State, I mean, they at least played Auburn. That's an SEC school. Yeah, Auburn's a little down this year. They're not what they used to be.
Yeah, Auburn's
I mean, the best team Michigan's played this year was Maryland, dude.
I mean, you could say that. Iowa's been up and down. Indiana, yeah.
I mean, you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm getting
yeah.
at, though? I don't disagree totally with what you said. I got Auburn against Maryland. I got Auburn against Indiana. I got Auburn against Iowa right now. I was not looking like the team they have in the past. I mean,
I don't know if Auburn beats any of those teams, to be honest.
Hey, it just comes back to the point that the Big 12 is the second best conference in college football, man.
Yeah.
That just comes back to our point. Because if you look at it from pure depth, now granted, we've talked about the top teams at the top in the SEC and the Big 10 are probably your top 4 teams right now. I mean, let's just be honest and call it what it is. But I like what the Big 12 is looking like right now, even though my Sooners absolutely suck. But, hey, we'll see, man. Hey, somebody's got to take the throne. But, no, Michigan, this shouldn't be a problem. They should be able to establish the run game. Doesn't look like Penn State really plays much defense over there. They're giving up about 350 a game, like you alluded to. So, I mean, it's just I got Michigan, man. Michigan all day, every day on this one.
All right.
The next game I wanted to talk about, this is a top 15 matchup coming out of the Big 12. Your Oklahoma State Cowboys pulling up in there to Fort Worth, Texas against some TCU Horned Frogs, man. If this game right here doesn't make you a little nervous as a fan, I don't know what would. They got TCU favored in this one. Y'all are underdogs against TCU on the road. -4 points. It's a 2:30 p.m. game on ABC. So, mid-afternoon game, Fort Worth. I mean, those Horned Frog fans, man, they get in there, they do their little thing, and they get that place rocking. I mean, it's not a great big stadium. I think it's like 50,000 people, maybe at the most. But, man, they get those 50,000 in there rocking and carrying on. I mean, it's a Christian school, so I don't think those kids have any fun throughout the week. I think on the weekend they kind of just let loose. You know what I'm saying? And no pun intended there. I'm not against Christian schools or anything. I'm just saying I don't think they have very much fun like a regular college school would do. So, I mean, you got Oklahoma State, Spencer Sanders rolling up against Duggan. I mean, and those receivers for TCU. I would argue, and you can push back on me if you want to, I would argue this is Oklahoma State's toughest matchup to date. This is definitely the toughest team that y'all have faced so far. Would you agree or disagree with that take?
I'd probably disagree with that.
Okay,
if you're looking at everything in totality, I mean, going on the road and playing against Baylor, who was one of the favorites to play in the Big 12 championship this year.
I would have said that until last night happened.
Yeah, but okay, yes, they did lose to West Virginia last night. But if you're looking at the Big 12 as a whole, when we talked about this conference is not going to be easy to play in. You know what I mean? If you're talking about tough tests, I'm looking at TCU's schedule. They only beat SMU 42-34. They only beat KU last week by 7. That's what Kansas is playing without their starting quarterback for dang near the whole entire game. So it's not like the tough competition they've played, they just blown the doors off of them. They gave up 34 to SMU, and they gave up 31 to Kansas's backup quarterback. So
I'm so glad you didn't mention the Sooners in there as a tough matchup.
I said tough competition. That's
good time. It's good time. Enjoy it while you can, my friend. Enjoy this while you can. We ain't gonna be down for long, man. But no, it's one of those games, though. I mean, I think TCU is going to be able to score on you guys. After seeing what Texas Tech did to you guys last week,
yeah,
y'all pulled the victory out. Don't get me wrong. but Texas Tech had y'all sweating a little bit.
A little bit. A lot bit. I was nervous.
Okay, and can we both agree that TCU is a better team overall than Texas Tech is?
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
Okay, you see what I'm getting at with this?
No, I see what you're getting at. This is the same thing we went through with Baylor. The whole week leading up to Baylor, we were a 3.5 point road underdog. All right. Nobody was really picking us. Damn near didn't pick us. I thought Baylor was going to beat us. And we went in there and we just surprised a lot of people and beat a good team on the road. Am I saying that's going to be just like this? I think no. I agree with you. I think TCU right now, if they played Baylor, TCU would win. But it's the same storyline. Nobody's really picking us. TCU's a 4-point favorite at home. The ESPN predictor little circle that I'm looking at on ESPN has it at a 58% to 41.9%. That's better chances than we had against Baylor. That circle was a whole lot more green against Baylor than it was against TCU. They gave us a little bit more orange on this little matchup predictor. So, no, I agree with everything that everybody said against Baylor, and we won. I'm agreeing with everything that everybody's saying against TCU, and I think we'll come out and win that one too. I just think defensive-wise, I know we gave up the 31 points against Tech, but I don't know. I just like the way we play on the road. I don't know. I can't explain it. It's not. I don't have facts or analytics behind it. I just think that we're not a scared team when we go on the road and we play hard. So
man, I like our chances. I don't know what happened, but I gotta shout out Kendall Daniels on y'all's team, y'all's freshman redshirt at safety.
Oh yeah,
you went against him, if I'm not mistaken, in high school. The team that you coached, did you not?
Yeah, my boy from Beggs. He played at Beggs when I coached at Metro Christian. That dude, ball.
He's a baller, and he looks. I mean, he makes open field tackles with the best of them. He's got great cover skills. I mean, he's gonna be a future star. Keep that name in mind, folks out there. Kendall Daniels will play on Sundays if he keeps continuing to do what he's doing. So, with all of that being said, I'm having a hard time picking against TCU at home in this one, man. I really am. And I'm high on your Cowboys. I'm not saying I'm down on them. I just think that this could be a matchup problem for you guys. You got some young corners, if I'm not mistaken, on those outsides, do you not?
Yep.
Those young corners going up against these big, tall, fast receivers that TCU has that they're going to throw out there at you. And Max Duggan, man, he looks like a totally night and day different quarterback than what he has the past 4 years. I mean, I kept thinking, how long is it till this guy actually gets the hell out of here? But he's actually putting together a really good year. He's 93 for 127, 1,300 yards, 14 touchdowns, and only 1 interception. So he's not turning the ball over. It's not costing his team games. And that running back that they have, man, keep yourself on notice about Mr. Miller over there in the backfield for TCU because that dude is an absolute stud. 69 carries. I see why they got rid of Zach Evans in the offseason now whenever that guy that went to Ole Miss, that running back they had last year. I see why they let that guy walk out the door because this guy might be a titch better as far as that guy. I'm going off of what I seen. The only time I've seen TCU play this year was when they absolutely manhandled my Sooners. So that's what I'm going off of in the most part. I mean, to beat OU like that, good or bad, I mean, dude, that says something. And they dominated us, man. I mean, I got TCU in this one. I don't think they're going to cover that -4, though. I think it's going to be a close game. I think TCU is going to be able to make enough plays. Now, that doesn't take y'all out of the conversation in general. I think every team in the Big 12 this year is going to have 1 loss. I don't think there's going to be an undefeated Big 12 champ. I just don't. Right. And I think this is one of those games on the road, ABC, 2:30 game. I think this is one of those games that can catch y'all slipping because they're very capable of doing it. And they are. I mean, you might disagree, but I think this is your best opponent you faced so far. So we're gonna see.
One can make that argument for sure. I think they got a very, they're gonna be motivated as well. This is the same team that Oklahoma State beat 63-17 last year in Stillwater. So I mean, I don't know how many players are returning on from the TCU side, But we're bringing back a lot of people from that game last year that was on the right side of that 63-17 score. So I don't know. I think they'll be highly, highly motivated watching that tape from last year, that 63-17
Right.
beat down.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you there. I mean, but this is a different TCU team than was last year. They just are. I mean, Sonny Dykes over there, he's got them boys playing good this year, man. He just does. So, I don't know. This could be one of those early season things to where they just come out of the gates hot and they can fall flat on their face for the rest of the year. I've seen that happen too. I just don't see that, though. TCU's got some talent over there, and they're playing with some guys. So, we'll see. Wouldn't be surprised if y'all won it, but I just can't pick against TCU at TCU. It's just a tough place to go into and win. This next game that we got on this matchup in the Pac-12, my Pac-12 champions, the USC Trojans, are coming up into Utah. It's a 7 p.m. game on Fox. It's going to be the primetime game for Fox that night. You got number 7 versus number 20 Utah. Utah slipped up. They've lost a couple games now. USC just keeps on rolling along, but USC hasn't faced anybody of notice. They haven't done it yet. So this is going to be their first true road test. We're going to really see what Caleb Williams, Lincoln Riley, Now, Addison, that dude, I have to say, that dude is an absolute stud at receiver.
Yeah.
Jordan Addison, that kid they got from Pittsburgh, dude, that dude looks
he was a
every
Biletnikoff
bit.
winner last year.
There's a reason he won that last year. Now he has a much better quarterback and a much better system that he's running in right now. I mean, I hate Lincoln Riley. I've mentioned that before, but I can't knock the guy. He knows how to coach some football, and he can coach on that offensive side of the ball. I mean, there's no doubt about that. So, I mean, you got -3.5 Utah. So Vegas thinks Utah is going to pull this one off.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got all those factors and everything. And USC on defense, I kind of hate this because they're not bad. You know what I mean? They actually look like they know how to tackle. Like it looks like Alex Grinch went over there to USC and finally learned how to play some defense. That could be because they're not going up against the same kind of opponents like they wore in the Big 12.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more competition in the Big 12 and everything else than what there is over there in the Pac-12. But coming up here, I mean, USC, they still got Utah. They still got to play Oregon. And then they still got to go meet up with old UCLA. So they've got 3 tough games on the matchups coming up the rest of the year that I'm going to be circling. This game, though, that -3.5, that's disrespectful. That's just disrespectful.
Why?
Because when you break – okay, it's going to come right down to this. Let me tell you. The quarterback.
I got to hear this. Ooh, okay.
Give me the quarterback. Give me Caleb Williams over anybody in the country right now, man. That dude is an absolute stud. And he's better than that Rising guy over there at Utah. I've seen Rising, whenever the lights get brighter, I've seen him falter and not be able to handle business. Caleb Williams ain't going to do that. He ain't going to do it. He ain't. I just don't see it. That's why I got them pulling up in there to Utah, and I got them beating this. I got them out white running. USC is going to win this game. I mean, I picked them to win the Pac-12. I can't have them losing to Utah. And then what would make it even better for me is that knocks your pick of the Pac-12 right on out the water. See you later. Have a nice day. So, I mean, I got to pick USC here.
You got to stick with your guns. Yeah.
I got more faith in Caleb Williams than I do Rising over there. I don't even know the guy's first name. So
his name's Cameron Rising. Let me tell you what Cameron Rising's done in the bright lights that you say he hasn't performed well in. He's won a big Pac-12 championship. He beat Oregon twice last year. That same Oregon team that beat Ohio State and was ranked in the top 5 for half of last year. He beat that team twice and won a Pac-12 championship. He took Ohio State to the freaking brink and lost in overtime. And what was it? Was that the Rose Bowl last year against C.J. Stroud, the number 1 team right now in college football?
And all them freshman receivers.
Yeah. So they only lost by 4 to Florida. All right. He had 3 touchdowns in that game. It wasn't like he just fell off the earth and had a terrible game. Now, the bright spot that I think you're talking about being this past UCLA game, they did put up 35 points or 32 or something like that. That was more about their defense not playing good than it was him. On the year, he's got 13 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 1440 in yards. I'm telling you this right now. This team has not lost but 2 games since that coach has been there, and they haven't lost a game at home in the Pac-12 since 2018. All right? 2018 is the last time they've lost at home in a Pac-12 conference game.
After tomorrow, to be 2022.
We talk about this unbelievable offense from USC, 461, 40 yards a game, 40 points a game, 461 yards a game. Points per game for Utah, 40 a game, yards 457. So it's dang near the same offensive production output. Here's where they're different. USC's giving up 350 a game on defense. Utah's giving up 315 a game on defense. All right, so almost if you wanted to round up and round down, you could say 50 yards, give or take some yards per game that Utah's not giving up, that USC is giving up. USC has the weakest unit out of all 4. It's their defense, and we know it's been their defense the whole time. I don't think Grinch really figured out how to coach defense yet. He just figured out that you have to play against a weaker schedule so your defensive stats will look better. That's about all he figured out, okay? I'm telling you right now, you're going to look up on the scoreboard tomorrow, and you're going to see that Utah is running the ball. They're going to play they're going to play ground control. They're going to play keep away, because I agree with you on this. Caleb Williams is a better quarterback than Cameron Rising. And I think the Utah coaches know that. So what's the best way to keep Caleb Williams neutralized? To keep him off the field. Exactly. And that's something that the USC Trojans struggle with. So I definitely give me Utah in this one. Give me all of that 3.5 plus more. I think they'll cover. And I think they win by probably like 6 or 7.
Okay. And to push back on your Florida take there, man, Florida doesn't look good at all. So that was I can't accept that take.
I know you brought up the Auburn game for Penn State. No,
that's okay. That's fair. Touche, brother. I'll take that one. But the UCLA game, though, the 42-32. I mean, Utah has played tougher competition this year than USC. No doubt about it. Not doubting that at all. But, I mean, as you talk about the Utah's running game, USC's got quite a bit of running game themselves. That transfer from Oregon, Troy Dye, if I'm not mistaken, is his name?
Yep.
That dude is
Troy.
A stud.
Is it Troy? Yeah.
It is Troy.
Yeah.
90 carries, 571 yards, and 6 touchdowns.
Travis
and then
Dye.
you got Travis Dye. And then you got Jordan Addison over there, 32 receptions, 479 yards, and 6 touchdowns. And then Caleb, since you said rising stats, I'm going to throw his out there. 122 for 188, 1,590 yards, 14 touchdowns to just 1 interception. I mean,
That's pretty good.
These are one of those games where big-time players make big-time plays, and they step up in the moment. If Caleb Williams is all that hype, he's got those Dre Beats deals, he's got all that NIL money. He's the glamour boy of college football right now. He paints his nails, everything else. You know what I'm saying? He's completely different. Yeah. But the dude just outright balls. And I just think that one of these games, he's just going to put that team right on his back. That's what we're missing at Oklahoma this year, man. We don't have that.
A game changer.
Dylan Gabriel's not that guy. Losing Caleb Williams, he is that guy, and he's a guy that can change the outcome of your program. So that was huge for USC this offseason for him to transfer there with Lincoln Riley. So that's why I'm picking them, and I'm going to stick to it. So we're just going to roll on from here. You got Utah, I got USC. This last game, though, I have a funny feeling that we're both going to be picking this one the same way. I don't think this is going to go any different. It's in the ACC. It's not a ranked matchup, but honestly, it's Clemson's last test. I mean, looking at their schedule, and anybody going into the ACC championship game, they're not going to compete with Clemson either, man. I mean, Clemson should absolutely roll Florida State, but it's a 6:30 p.m. game on ABC. Florida State, they've been known to have a pretty hostile crowd in there. We'll see if their fans fill up that stadium. I think that they will against the top 5 opponent coming into their stadium. I think they'll fill it up. They'll be in their ruckus, everything else. I just think it's going to come down to the coaching. Dabo Swinney versus Florida State's coach, who I don't even know the guy's name, so that just explains it right there. I mean, I'm gonna roll with Dabo Swinney and Clemson, and just know that guy's gonna know how to pull this game out and to get a victory, because he just does not lose in the ACC very often. It doesn't happen. I mean, I can't remember the last game they've lost in the ACC of significance when they're picked to win it. When was the last time they've done that? It doesn't. I mean, last year they had an off year last year, and them Jokers went 10-3.
Yeah. God, I'd love to have an off year like that.
Man, for my Sooners right now, I hope we go 10-3, my man. I hope. I don't see it, but my gosh. So with all that being said, DJ Ucla looking like a quarterback that was a 5-star coming out of high school. Now he's starting to pick it up. I think it's because they got that freshman quarterback that they got in. I can't remember the guy's name. They had just gotten him in. And he was a 5-star guy coming out of high school, and he kind of probably pushed DJ to step his game up. Because if DJ didn't step his game up, they were going to put that cat right in. He was from Texas, if I'm not mistaken. Westlake. I want to say, I could be completely off the map here, but he's a good guy. Clemson's going to be just fine at the quarterback position going forward. That's all I'm saying.
I would assume so, yeah.
At -4.5, give me those all day. Clemson's going to cover that with ease. I think Clemson wins this game by at least 2 scores. What's your take?
I got the same exact thing. Look, they'll win by 2 scores. I think Vegas, number one, is just getting a little bit too enamored with them playing a tougher schedule so far than Clemson. But they have 2 common opponents. They both played NC State. They both played Wake Forest. NC State beat Florida State 19-17, whereas Clemson beat NC State 30-20. Wake Forest beat Florida State 31-21. Clemson beat Wake Forest 51-45 in that 2 overtime thriller that they had. So, with that all being said, should Clemson be favored? Yeah, I think they should be favored by more. I think that Florida State has talent now. The coach is turning it around, but they don't have the talent Clemson has. The only thing they got going for them in this game is that it's in Tallahassee. You know what I mean? And it's going to be a night game. So that works in their favor. It's going to be a tough environment. So could that keep it to like 5 points and under? It could. I don't expect it to, but it could.
Right. I don't know about that. I mean, and the thing is, it's crazy. You got Alabama, the number 3 team, going up against the number 6 team in the nation on the road, like Clemson is here, and you got them at 9 points, but you can't give Clemson 7? Come on, man. That's disrespectful, dude.
Yeah,
Vegas is either doing one or 2 things. They're being disrespectful, or they're just wanting to give out free money to people picking the spread. I don't know. That's an easy spread. I'm putting all the money I got down on that -4.5 for Clemson, man. There's no way Florida State keeps this close. There's just not from what I've seen this year. I mean, the Clemson should roll up in there to Florida State and just dust them boys. They really should.
I agree. But Clemson's shown that they've been known to play around with their food sometimes. They've been known to do that.
They have. They have. Typically, though, they don't do it in the ACC, though. Not right. I mean, this has been their conference for because I remember
they've out recruited that whole conference twofold. But we said this at the beginning of the year. What does Clemson always have to deal with every single game in the ACC? They're everybody's Super Bowl. So it will be no different. This will be Florida State Super Bowl. They would love nothing more than to knock off Clemson at home in front of their home crowd. They would just love that, and every team would love that in the ACC. So I think that's Vegas factors those kind of things in somehow. I don't know.
This next game, man, this one, I wasn't going to talk about it, but I decided, this is the house divided. It's my team, the Sooners. Win.
Oh, look at you stepping up to the plate. Yeah.
Sooner born. Sooner bred, and when I die, I'm going to be Sooner dead, my man. That's just what it is. I'm not falling off my Sooners. They just disappoint me is all. That's all. I'm just disappointed. But, I mean, they got KU coming into town. I don't know if you've had a chance to see those uniforms they're going to be sporting. I mean, the only thing is, why we couldn't have brought something like that out when we were actually good?
I don't know.
Why? I mean,
they're bringing out the all black ones. This might be for y'all's funeral, man. This might be it. Y'all take an L. Y'all take an L tomorrow. It is definitely a wrap for the year.
Oh, it's been a wrap anyways. I don't know what you're talking about.
It can be a rappier rap. I don't know. It can be a sushi roll.
That's a bow and the ribbon, man. Put it under the tree. It's done. So, no, I mean, you got Dylan Gabriel coming back in. They don't have their starting quarterback, but the guy that is going to be playing for them, Bean, I believe is the guy's last name, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Last season, when we had Caleb Williams and a better roster, they pushed us to the brink. I mean, it took a Herculean performance from Caleb Williams to take the ball out of Kennedy Brooks' hand, which I didn't even know you could do something like that. I didn't know that was legal. I mean, but that's what it took last year for them to beat Kansas. And this ain't your dad's Kansas Jayhawks, folks.
Nah.
They're better than what they were in years past. That head coach over there, give him all the flowers, give him all the roses. That man's got him playing good this year. I'll let you break down all the stats and all the statistics and everything because clearly, guys, Kansas is better than us as of right now on paper. But again, Vegas must know something that I don't because they got OU favored at -8.5 in this game.
Yeah. Started off at 7, and I was jumped up to 8.5, which means a lot of money's coming in on the OU side of it. This is what we talked about before you guys played Texas. I kind of gave my little rant in favor of you guys, which I don't know. Still don't know why I did that. But here's the thing: you guys will have the most talent recruiting wise. If you just take the rosters and put the recruiting numbers next to their names and what they were coming out of high school, OU clearly has a better roster recruiting wise. Am I right or wrong?
Oh, you're absolutely 100% right.
Okay, and I think people
you talking about then Kansas? Comparing it to Kansas's?
Yeah.
Huh. I don't even think Kansas recruits in the top 50.
That's what I'm saying.
So, absolutely.
The game is in Norman, okay? I think you guys are going to – I don't know. I think. What kind of crowd do you think is going to be there tomorrow, 11 a.m.?
I mean, I got to think that it's going to be a packed house, man. These Sooner fans they're not just going to not go watch the games.
Okay.
They're just not. I mean, it's still, I live here in Norman, Oklahoma, man, and you still see all the OU stuff everywhere. Them OU fans, we're very loyal fan base. That's one thing that I can say about Oklahoma, and nobody can disagree with that. They're going to pack that house. I mean, if you think about it, the last couple games that we've lost was on the road. We lost that close game to K-State. That was our last home game. We had to go to Fort Worth and then go to Dallas to go play Texas in the Cotton Bowl. So I'm thinking with everything that I'm looking at here, you're getting Dylan Gabriel back. You know what I'm saying? And say what you want about Dylan Gabriel. I'm not going to sit here and say he's a Heisman Trophy winner, everything else. But he's better than what the hell we've been throwing out there the last 2 weeks. I can promise you that.
Y'all will be able to throw the ball again.
Oh, golly, thank you. Lord, I just want to see some deep balls or something. I think that this is something now. I'm going to probably be totally off my rocker here. This could be something that springboards Oklahoma for the rest of the season, though. We're going to really find out what kind of coach Brent Venables is. Because clearly, last week, yes, they didn't have the talent to match up with Texas. But, dude, he kept throwing that quarterback out there and kept throwing him out there. And then you're going to throw that Wildcat stuff out there, man. Come on, dude. At that point, when you're down like that, you got to throw the kitchen sink out there, man. Just throw it. I don't care if a guy looked amazing in practice. I don't care if the guy doesn't know the whole dang playbook, like you have alluded to. Simplify things. Stop trying to be so complex and complicated right now. Until you get your recruits in there and the players that you want, you kind of got what you got right now. That's where we're at. So I'm not one of those fans that's like, fire Brent Venables, get rid of him. He's trash, everything else. Because I think a lot of those people that are saying that, I'm going to save the receipts on that. Y'all take notice. OU will be back. We're not just going to we ain't falling off like Texas did. That's not happening. It's not going to happen. No. I mean, so I got OU in this one, and I got them covering that 8.5. I think they're going to come out. I think they'll beat Kansas by at least 2 to 3 touchdowns. I really do. It's homecoming. The crowd's going to be in there. You're coming into Gaylord Memorial Stadium. It's a whole different ball game. Playing in those black uniforms, everything else. OU is going to cover. They're going to get back to business and start winning some damn football games. What's your take?
I think OU will win. I don't have them covering though. I'm looking at the last time y'all had a home game, like you said, was Kansas State. You guys gave up 41 points on defense. This same Kansas team with the same backup quarterback just put up 31 on TCU and lost to TCU, which a lot of people are picking right now as the front runners in the Big 12. You know, they lost to TCU by 7 points with a backup quarterback. So this is going to be a formidable test. Gabriel's going to be huge for y'all. You're going to get some production out of Marvin Mims again with him being back. Maybe it's some Theo Weiss. The key to y'all is Gray running the football. Can you put out a consistent run attack, hold the ball from Kansas, which can put up points? I'm looking at the 4 units. It's a wash on offense. Kansas puts up 440. OU puts up 433 on offense yards. Defense, 395 for Kansas, 450 for OU. So OU does have they're trying out the worst unit. And the way you negate that is if you run the ball and play time of possession. And I think OU's going to be smart enough to do that. And I think they're going to come away probably with like a 3 to 4 point win.
And
just
tackle.
And tackle. That's the biggest thing.
And stop playing 10 yards off of the damn receiver.
If they do that, that quarterback for Kansas is a way better passer than the starter is.
I know he. That's
if they do these things, don't play 10 yards like you said off because they'll eat you up with a little 6-yard out routes or little 6-yard hitches.
I was looking at something the other day. There was something on Twitter that somebody had posted. And I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was kind of breaking down the formations that Oklahoma's running out there on defense. Through the first 3 weeks when they were 3-0, where everybody thought Brent Venables was just the best thing since sliced bread, they were running about 70% of their defensive snaps was in a 4-3 formation. 4-3. 4 down linemen.
Really?
Everything else. It was. I can't remember exactly what it was. But the last 3 weeks, the last 3 games that we have played, what have I alluded to, Corey, that we should not do and we
the
keep
3-man
continuing
front.
to do?
The 3-man front.
He's acting like he has 5 stars along that defensive line like he did at Clemson. You don't have that right now, my man. And we don't have outside linebackers to stand up on those edges that you need in a 3-4 defense to be able to contain that edge. So that's been their biggest problem. Not only can they not contain the edge, but they're getting bullied on the defensive line with those guys in the middle. I mean, that's just where it's at. So in my opinion, I don't know if they will. We shall see. Get back to the basics, man. Go back to that 4-3. Get you 4 down linemen out there and simplify some stuff. Stop trying to run your scheme right now, Brent. If you ever watch this, Brent Venables, please stop running your scheme. It's not working this season. Wait till you get your horses in there before you start running out the gates. You gotta wait. You have to adjust. I mean, it's literally last week comes down to coaching for me. Yes, we lost 49-0. Yes, our players couldn't tackle everything else, but the coaches have to put them in better positions to be able to be successful. So, and they have not done that yet. So we'll see. We're going to find out. If they come out there, that'd be a big win for Oklahoma right now. It would kind of, a lot of these people are thinking recruits are just about to jump on out the door and everything. folks, I got something else to tell you. Don't believe the media whenever it comes to recruiting.
You guys just jumped up to number 3 in recruiting, right? You're only
That's
behind,
what I'm saying. So it's like,
you're
but
only
they're
behind
saying that
Alabama
all
and
these.
Georgia.
Hey man, they're saying that all these are star quarterbacks going to decommit. I mean, everybody's saying, all the Texas boosters and everything. You know how that goes.
Yeah, your recruiting points went up ever since the losing streak.
That's what I'm saying. They'll be just fine. They're getting players in there. Just give it some time. I'm not saying next year that they're going to come out and win a national title or anything, but they should be much improved than what they are this year. But with that all being said, you're 3-3 right now. What are you going to do with the rest of this season? That's going to show me a lot as an Oklahoma fan what I have. Because if they just lay down and go 4-8, 5-7, all that kind of stuff, and just have lackluster performances throughout the rest of the season, just get dusted by everybody, we might have to start looking at something else. And I'm one of those. I've been saying give Brandon his chances, everything else, but you cannot. If they go 3-8, 3-7, or 3-9, 4-8, Corey, I don't think Joe C's gonna be sitting up there in that athletic director's department and just be like, "It'd be all right. We trust you, Brent." I mean,
man,
correct me if I'm wrong.
You're talking about buyout clauses now. You're talking about bringing in a whole new staff. You're going to be talking about losing a recruiting class that's all committed to Brent Venables. You're talking about a lot of different variables and factors when you start talking about letting the coach go after 1 year. It's a very scary proposition. I wouldn't even placate it. I wouldn't even start entertaining those thoughts if I was Joe C, for all the reasons I just pointed out and more that I can't even think of right off the top of my head. When there's turnover in your coaching staff, there's a lot of stuff that happens, and most of it is not good, as you can see this year, right? If you thought this year was bad and you sit up there and you let Brent Venables go and you lose some of that recruiting class that's number 3 in the country right now,
that's fair.
You know what I mean?
Point.
It'll get worse.
Fair point.
It'll get worse than 4-8 before it gets better, buddy. I'm just telling you.
Well, I'll tell you this. He come out here and he do this same performance next season, he going to be gone. They won't put up with it 2 years in a row. I can promise you that. You probably have your little 1 year grace period right now, and I might differentiate on that if we don't win another game this season. I'm kind of feeling a little different right now. But if we don't win another game this season, I might go pull up over there at the office and say, look here. Unacceptable. I don't know what you thought this was coming up in here, but this ain't how we play at Oklahoma, man. We are blue blood. We have a standard around here, and we need to live up to that standard. So that's just my little soapbox. I'm gonna hop up off my soapbox now. I just figured I'd kind of put those points out there. I've had a lot of frustrations over the last few weeks. It's been very difficult. If it wasn't for my Vikings doing good in the NFL, I don't know what I'd do with myself right now. So, with all that being said, do you have anything else you'd like to cover on this one, Corey?
Nah, that's it, man. That is it.
Okay. Well, man, that's all our matchups for this week. We got some hot ones. It's going to be a good weekend of football. We did our NFL yesterday. That show's going to be dropping here in just a little bit, so keep tuned for that one, guys. And I'm just excited for a great weekend of college football, man. I'm excited for NFL. I mean, it's football season, man. And then next week, guess what starts up? Basketball is coming. Yes, it's going to be that great time of the year where we have basketball and football playing all at the same time. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. It's just really whenever it always sucks when that ends, though, because then all you got to watch is baseball. That's just terrible. I mean, I don't hate baseball. That's not my preferred watch.
Right.
So, with all that being said, guys, again, if you guys like the comments that y'all are seeing, if you like everything you're hearing, all that, there's a like button down there. It's got one of them little thumbs up. Go ahead and hit that for us. That helps with the algorithm, like we mentioned before. If you aren't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button too, guys, so you guys can be up to date on everything. Another thing, too, there's a notification bell. It will actually send you a notification to your phone when we drop a new video. And the best thing is we always want to hear from you guys. Hop down in those comment boxes. Hit us up on Twitter. I mean, if you go to our YouTube page, we've got our Twitter, we've got Instagram, we got TikTok, we got all that stuff. Love to hear from you on that as well, guys. So with all that being said, though, this is the House Divided podcast, guys. We signed on in, and now we're going to go ahead. We're going to take our behinds on out of here. I got some steaks out here I'm about to grill. Got some cold brewskis I'm about to tip back with the homie.
Yes,
and we
sir.
going to kick it, man. So, peace. Signing on out. Here we go.
All right, brother.
See
Peace.
y'all. Peace.